your floor's missing piece. Now, Dan and Jeff hand it off to our halfback.
Fred Taylor, every time he touches it, he's a candidate to go the distance.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein & Robbins DUI defense firm and Monahan Jewelers on 1010XL.
All right, let's bring in our running back, Fred Taylor, visit with him. Lots of topics to talk about as the Jags get back to work this week and have the Las Vegas Raiders. Fred, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning, Fred. Always good to catch up. We were talking about the importance of this game, and really in the NFL, every game is – the next game is the most important game. You can always make an argument, but for this Jaguar team, the way they've played the last two games, going out to Vegas, taking on a team that has struggled, and having any kind of postseason aspirations, this is obviously a huge game for them, and one that we want to see them playing good football again. They haven't been playing good football. We need to see some of that, right?
Yeah, of course. We definitely need to see some of that. We all want to see some of it. The Raiders are a team that struggle. You just mentioned it. They're 2-5. You know, they don't know which way they're going. They got quarterback troubles. They got defense troubles. It's all sorts of stuff going on. But Jacksonville, you know, in the NFL, you're supposed to win the games you're supposed to win. Mm-hmm. Look at Cincinnati Bengals yesterday. A week ago, Joe Flacco came in, destroyed Pittsburgh. Yesterday, you can't beat a 0-7 or 0-6, 0-7 New York Jets team. So you got to win the games you're supposed to win. Otherwise, you're just a bad team. You got to find a way to stop the two-game losing streak and bounce back. So no better way than to go out to Vegas, you know, play your hearts out and come back to Jacksonville with a W.
Do you think they feel the urgency, Fred, at this point, or no? Those last two games, how do they hit from a trauma standpoint if you're a team, right? I mean, you didn't just lose, especially the Rams game. Your confidence has to get knocked in the jaw a little, no?
I mean, the way the game went,
yeah.
You know, you start to question yourself, but then when you go back and watch the film, it's not always as bad as it seems. I mean, if the Parker-Washington punt return doesn't get called back, you have a 14-7 ball game. And, you know, on the other side, when it gets called back, you have a 3-and-out. You punt, they go down and score. Now it's 21-0 instead of 14-7, and you're regaining momentum. So, you know, the film doesn't lie. It's either going to tell you, hey, we're not as good as we thought, or we're not as bad as that last performance. Now, the trend has been the last two games, the offensive line looked pretty bad.
Yeah.
They got out physical in both matches. Trevor overthrows, and the balls, when they are accurate, the receivers are dropping them. So they have to find a way to fix that in order to do anything, right? So there are problems on both sides of the ball. But, you know, a week off, man, nice little reset for a nice little push. You know, you got a 2-5 team in the Raiders. You got a 3-4 team and your divisional rival who you already beat this year, who they are having troubles of their own. So, I mean, you know, it's light at the end of the tunnel. And like Belichick used to say, let's just hope it's not a train.
What have you made? Have you got to see much Ashton Genty, Fred? What do you think of the rookie who was, you know, so highly thought of, went in the top, 6 there of the NFL draft?
I got to see more.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see more. I think 7-8 games in, you know, you're supposed to sort of be that guy. You know, you're supposed to have shown many glimpses. And I think he had one big game.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
I believe.
Against the Bears, yeah.
You know, but again, it just goes to show you what he's up against out there in the Raiders. They're rebuilding. We know what Pete Carroll wants to do. Obviously, he wants to run the ball. Geno has to play better. They have to get their receiving core around them to play better. He only has the one 100-yard game. Mm-hmm. Has a 70-yarder in there, which is the next high, 260-plus. It seems as if he has about 400 yards rushing in 7 games. So that's not where you want to be, right?
Right.
So he has to pick it up. I mean, he has to pick it up. So they're trying to get him carries. Looking at the stats here, they're trying to get him some carries. First game was single digit, and they kind of went up after that. So his ability is there. In a different system, he might be better. Let's just see what happens as the year progresses.
Are you sure you're not related to that running back in Indianapolis?
Is he related to me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my goodness. What did the kids say? OMG.
Yeah.
I
Healthy, he's
mean,
pretty good, Fred. I think one thing is health. When the running backs are healthy, it can be a completely different version of when they're playing through it. And this guy healthy, man, is about as good as you can play, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, lights out. What did he have, that 80-yarder yesterday?
Yeah.
Just kind of, you would think the safety had him right in the tunnel right there, one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of, slow stutter, and accelerate and just beat him to the sideline. Great job of maintaining his balance, tight-roping, right there to out of bounds and taking it to the house. Has spent some time with him this training camp as we did our training camp tour to Pivot up in Indy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just excited. He was just, say he felt great, happy to be back and wanted to prove a point. A year ago, he went for over 1,400. Put games in, he's at least.
Uh-oh.
Losing me? All right. Just put it on hold, and
We'll get him back.
Yeah, we'll just when you get it back up, because we could turn our attention to a question or two about Florida, Georgia for Fred as the Jags come off their bye week. They go out and play the Raiders this week. I was just looking at something. The Raiders don't strike fear in you.
No, I shouldn't.
I mean, you look at what they've done this
No.
year. I mean, I guess Max Crosby can
Yeah.
be a tough out there for an offensive line that has struggled. But
I just
outside
see
of that-
again, I see a team there that
Yeah.
all right, let's get him back in.
Fred, I want to ask you a couple questions about Florida, Georgia before we let you go, and how unique that game is. You had one of the more unique experiences too, right? You were part of playing it in Jacksonville. You played it, on campus. So just to talk about how different that game was for you as a college player, and how different it'll be for those guys making the pilgrimage to Jacksonville this weekend.
The game versus Florida State was exciting because we knew a lot of those guys, related to some of them, played high school with some of them. But this is for a battle of between the states. You got Florida, Georgia. They used to have the high school game back in the day, and then you kind of evolved to the college level, and it's UF versus UGA, the greatest, world's largest cocktail party, and they're not short of. They always live up to that hype, that standard. It's an amazing time. I remember being there as a Jaguar, outside of having played in the game, just the preparation, seeing the people come in, the RVs and the fans coming in, started, parking and holding down shop from Tuesday until kickoff. Just a great atmosphere across the board. But as a player, I mean, you had to hold up. I thought we were obviously better than UGA. My senior year, they kind of came down and upset us. We didn't have a great performance that day, but we made up for it when we beat the Seminoles. But that's another story, right? But having the opportunity to play in the swamp once, between the hedges once, and in Jacksonville twice.
Yeah, that's pretty
cool. I don't think it gets any better than that.
Yeah.
I got the full experience, and I know over time, Coach Spurrier, he kind of rattled those guys and, shake it up a little bit. And that's what we need. We need somebody that's going to shake things up a little bit, get these guys out there, get them energetic, let them know what the tradition is all about.
Well, it should be fun. Hopefully. We'll see what happens. What do you make of this craziness in college? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that hopefully doesn't sound so
I'm not.
enthusiastic.
No, I'm not that enthusiastic.
I mean, you've watched this season along with us, Fred. This is how bad a year it's been. I honestly feel more optimistic that the team will play better with an interim staff just thrown together than with what Billy has just brought to the table week after week for 3.5 years. So there's that.
Well, these guys are in short notice.
Yeah.
They're auditioning. These coaches they're remaining there. They're auditioning. They want to put their best foot forward. They're waiting, they've been waiting for these opportunities to kind of go out there and, I'm sure they aspire to be a head coach someday. They don't just want to be position coaches, for the entirety of their coaching careers. So, I mean, and I know it's not a lot. The AD is looking for some, but if I can say anything, I would suggest that we don't leave it in the hands of the athletic director. I think we need football people in there that are going to make football decisions, somewhat of a GM, scout, somebody that can really go out there and make calculated, long-term football decisions and that understand the lay of the land. And not knocking the AD. Obviously, he does great what he does, or whoever the decision makers are in the next hire. I just think it just has to be a football-minded, similar to a former GM in the NFL or somebody with heavy ties to Florida that's been there. We got to bring back our own.
Yes.
And kind of build from inside out.
I love that suggestion, and I fully endorse it. And I hopefully they'll go that route. I know that the GM has become an important part of these organizations as these college teams are now starting to model what NFL teams do because, quite frankly, it's become such a business and there's so much money involved. So I know that Florida is looking hard at hiring the right GM as well as head coach, and the GM hopefully would have some say and some football knowledge as well. So hopefully that's the way that they go, I think. So we'll see.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to be just the sexy hire, the low-hanging fruit,
right?
The hype hire. Like, we don't need that. We need a football person, even if it's somebody on a lower level that's waiting to make a shot. There are many candidates.
Just important.
Maybe they just hadn't been in the spotlight.
Right.
Just important to get the right one.
Hopefully we can find our guy.
Yep. All right, my man. Appreciate you as always. Look forward to talking to you. Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys.
There he goes. Fred Taylor, our Monday morning quarterback. We'll take a break. Keep it rolling. Yeah, is that quarterback?
Quarterbacks is by running it.
He could be a quarterback or running back or a defensive end. Whatever. Commercial.
Hacker here, and thank you so much for watching this video on the 1010XL Jaguar YouTube channel. Be sure and like, subscribe, and keep it locked right here on all the 1010XL channels on the 1010XL YouTube network.